Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In one of my previous videos, I mentioned something around, I can't remember exactly which video it was, but I know I mentioned something around the fact that the Asian Mus'haf or the South African Mus'haf, the Qur'an, the print, the one that I'd completed my hifd in, it's actually, it's got errors in terms of waqf, so the symbols, where you stop and where you shouldn't stop. It's got errors in there, so that's what I take back. Basically, that's the mistake that I made. When I say the mushaf, so first, just to be clear, this is mushaf, the physical. I'm being a bit of a hero here, but this is the mushaf. So many people say, "Pass the Quran, pass me the Quran." This is pass me the mushaf, which is the mushaf is the physical copy of what holds the Quran, which is the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Quran is the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The mushaf is the physical copy of the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's a bit of a technical point there for you. But yeah, this is the one. This is my wife's mushaf, but so it's not the one I did my hifd in. But this is the style I'm talking about. This one's color coded. So what it is basically I did my hifd in the Asian maktab system, and one of my main teachers, Qari Khalil, Allah protect him and preserve him. He's from the Indian. He's Indian, so I'm talking about the subcontinent background. That's where I started my journey with the Quran and the hifd and the rest of it. So with that mushaf, and then obviously I've branched out in terms of I've started to study. I've been studying with Arab teachers, particularly Egyptian and Saudi. So, and I noticed that every time I use this mushaf, like obviously I done my hifd in there, so that's going to be like my first go-to point. So I stop according to this mushaf, and they correct me, and some of them get annoyed as well, like what kind of waqf is this? And they follow the Madani mushaf, which is this. Okay, so and then some of them have their own some of them are very specific and they have their own. They're alims, they're muqrits. For example, Fadilat Sheikh Abu Rawash, Hafidhahullah, who I'm reading to now, he's very, very specific on waqf wal-ibtila, and also Sheikh Abdullah al-Jarullah. But anyways, the mistake that I made is on one of my previous videos, I said that the signs and the symbols and the signs of waqf in this mushaf, some of them are wrong. But I take that back because the signs of waqf have actually been derived from a kitab of a scholar. And I asked one of my teachers in Kulliyat al-Qur'an, Sheikh Ahmed al-Amin al-Shinqiti. I asked him particularly because I noticed all the time on this verse here, somewhere here, I don't know if you can see, وقالوا اتخذ الله ولدا سبحانه بل له ما في السماوات والأرض كل له قانتون. Now, anytime I listen to the A'imma or any major Quran research such as Sheikh Mishari al-Hafasi or Sheikh Husari, they always stop, even in Salah or wherever I listen, they say وقالوا اتخذ الله ولدا سبحانه or سبحانه بل له ما في السماوات والأرض. But in this mushaf, in the Asian South African mushaf, it's got lam alif, which means that you cannot stop there. It's like if you stop there, it's a very bad thing, and you've changed the meaning and stuff like that. So I've always been taught وقالوا اتخذ الله ولدا سبحانه بل له ما في السماوات والأرض, and I've read that and I always get told off by these other teachers. And then I asked my teacher in Kulliyat al-Quran, I asked him specifically about this verse, and he said, number one, اقرأوا كما علمتم, so read as you have been taught. This is like the beauty of the Quran. And he said, number two, he said everyone has their own explanation and their own interpretation of waqf wal-ibtila. So for example, in the let me just check here. In the Madani Mus'haf, I don't think there'll be a waqf there because that's what we're trying to discuss here. Okay, so they do have something there, but anyways, my point is, all my teachers they haven't accepted when I've stopped on. They say you have to say, well, yeah. So yeah, that's correct. So you have to say وقالوا اتخذ الله ولدا سبحانه بل له. You can't say in this mushaf وقالوا اتخذ الله ولدا سبحانه. And their argument is that Subhanahu, who is the dhamir, who going back to, you know, you have waladan there, you have Allahu, so there's a bit of ambiguity in terms of who the dhamir is going back to. So that's why they say you have to say وَقَالُوا اتَّخَذَ اللَّهُ وَلَدًا, you know, and they said Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a walad, yani walada, a child. So you have to stop there and you say Subhana, something different. But the reason for the, you know, the lam alif, that you cannot stop there in the South African Musaf, which is the complete opposite of what they're saying, where you have to stop then and Subhana is something else, is that they are of the, and listen to the beauty of this, and like how we've all been created with different thoughts and our minds are different and the rest of it, and everything is acceptable as long as you have a, you know, legitimate explanation. So they say, how can you, they say, don't stop there because you have to quickly say Subhana. You have to quickly praise Allah because you're saying, they said Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given birth to a child. So you have to you shouldn't stop there. You should quickly finish it and say Subhana. بَلْ لَهُ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. You know, that, you know, you're quickly saying, no, that's like completely wrong. Praise be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I don't want to say that, I don't want to make rash comments, and I'm learning as I go along, so forgive me if I've offended any of you in any of my videos, if I've said something. But you know, نسأل الله القبول والإخلاص, and I hope you learned something there. Assalamu alaikum.